Hey everybody. So I thought I'd just share a little project that I've been working on, and I'll try to put a little pattern up in the link below uh, because it's my own design, and just kind of want to make something a little like a nautical compass. And I'm just doing the embroidery on a piece of old denim from a pair of jeans. And well, I just got it pretty much done. I just kind of wanted to wait on the last few pieces just so I could get a little bit on video and show you what I was doing here. And basically, the inside part here, I just went ahead and did a back stitch around the circle. And this one here is the fishbone stitch. And so let me get my white going here. This is I really like this stitch. That's all I can say about it. I was using a little bit on another project that I'm working on, which I'll also have up on my channel. And I don't know, it just is a really cool stitch. Just come up and cover basically the end stitch of each one, and it makes this nice little ridge going down it, and it's very feathery looking. And that's kind of what I did here. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up, and I'll show you then the next part of what I was doing over here on the outside border. Alright, be back in a second. Okay, so I finished up the fishbone stitch on my inner thing, star I guess, or sun, I think it's a sun. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the inside border here, and on this one I'm just doing a Holbein stitch, and I'm going to run that across, and then I'm going to bring out the little spoke stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and get that running here, and then I'll be back for the next one. Just show you here a little bit how it's done. Just going to do the Holbein stitches basically a lot like our, I don't know, it's kind of like a combination between a running stitch and a back stitch, because you're going to do the running stitch along, and then you're going to come back with the back stitch, which is actually kind of cool because you can, you know, come back with a different color, so make kind of a intermittent dashed line type look or something like that. But on this one, I'm just using pure white for everything because, like I said, it's kind of a bit of a nautical theme that I'm going with. Okay, so I finished this, and I had a little bit thread extra, not enough to come back. So I just went ahead and did a little portion of the satin stitch that covers the area that I just put a back stitch in to kind of delineate where it's going to be. And I'm going to come back this direction with a stem stitch, and so I'll be right back when that's done. So I finished my stem stitch up there, and I have some thread left over, and I want to do the next stitch is the cretonne stitch, the open cretonne stitch, and I want to work it from this direction over. So I'm just going to go ahead and do some satin stitching on my end part, and just like on that one, I did an outline with a back stitch, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come on the outside of the back stitch, and then on the outside on the other side, and just kind of cover that all up with a satin stitch. And when I have this worked out, and I'll be back in a second to show the cretonne stitch. Alright, so gonna keep working here the open cretonne stitch, and I do this all the way, oops, across the pull that little guy out. There we go. I'm gonna do this all the way across here, and this is a little bit tricky on this denim because the denim is so thick, but I think it's cool to explore different types of fabrics and how stuff works on them. So, you know, I appreciate the, you know, the traditional way of doing stuff, but you know, there's other ways to do things too. Alright, be back in a minute. So just finished the open cretin stitch, and I'm going to come back along here with a cable stitch. So it's just kind of like stem stitch, but instead of crossing over, you just go run the two pieces parallel. I'm going to make my, well, I guess I'll start it there. So there's one parallel, and I'm going to come up like you're doing a back stitch, coming up in the same hole. Down, and just going to keep running my cable stitch along the top here. Alright, I'll be right back. So I just finished that up and put a nice little French knot on the top, and I do have to add one onto the bottom. I'll come back and do that in a second, but I'm going to put in the little spokes over here. Now I found when I did this on the other ones, starting, even though I've got the markings here, I just found it better to start with the first one. I mean, not the first one, the middle one, and then I worked back to one side, but I just did one stitch each because I actually have like 2 stitches on them. There's kind of, just so that I made sure that everything was kind of even. And let's see here, we got 4, I think, on each side. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so when I did the little tiny guy on the end, I just left him as a single stitch. Oops, get my needle here, there we go. And then I came back, and if any of these guys looked a little crooked because of the weave of the denim, kind of corrected it with the second stitch. I wasn't too worried about keeping them parallel or whatnot. I just wanted them to look straightish. But I found that my needle just did not want to go super straight on a couple of them at particular angles. So I just went ahead and corrected that with the second stitch. And these guys look pretty good here. Whoops, come next one there. And then I'm just gonna do a double stitch on the middle guy again, and then come back and do this, and then I'm gonna come back and oops, finish up with the little French knot over here. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I finished these guys up here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up with my bottom French knot here. And I'll go ahead and tie that off here in a little bit. But there you go. Move that scissors out of the way. Gotta get a little farther. There we go. So that's my compass design, and I'm making this. My son wants it. So if you would like to make one for your own, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can download the pattern on my blog. But I hope you enjoyed watching this little project that I was working on. And, well, I'll see you in the next video. Let me know in the comments below if you tried it. And, you know, let me know how you like working on the denim. Alright, see you in the next one. Bye!